Before I do a deep dive into my tribe's mysticism, let me take you to the tribal roots of yours. Before we had the changes in the sun's course and the variations of the seasons, cycles of years, positions of stars, or the nature of living things, we had the sacred fire. Arguably one of the greatest mystic poets of our time said, "I purified my lips with sacred fire, that I may speak of love. But when I opened my mouth to speak, I found myself mute." Consider Malkuth, the kingdom, sovereignty, all that is under the all. Remember how small we are in the cosmic sense. Specks in the infinite. In millions of stars lies the carbon of your bones. Whatever that is that makes you unique is what makes the universe. All that started with our ancestors staring into the flames around the sacred earth. The polarity that strings together everything beyond our stratosphere traveled here to find rest as polarities were reconciled inside our Mother Earth. Rock with me as we take that journey within. Since the dawn of existence, fire has been regarded with awe. There's no way of figuring out when humans discovered how to create fire, but we do know that it revolutionized our lives. It provided us warmth in the winter and gave us new ways to prepare our meals and protected us from predators who were afraid of its glow. Everyone's OG comes from the same place. I hate to take away whatever specialness the cultural appropriation camp has, but every single person is related to someone who doesn't come from a complex way of life, who came up by a hunter-gatherer path. So anyone can have that connection to that gigantic fire that gave our ancestors safety and security. Think about what a sense of well-being would create in said ancestors. We aren't the biggest or the fastest predators, so imagine how immensely positive an influence on our emotional state we would experience the first time we weren't in a fear-based society. That's what the sacred fire brings to the table. Fire was a source of profound mystical experience because it created the space for our ancestors to reflect on their condition and gain awareness of the spiritual dimensions around them. How do you think the element of fire became an object of veneration? Not just amongst alchemists or Zoroastrians, Hellenists, Hutus, or Kiowas, or Pacific Islanders, or anyone who came up on the earliest religions of shamanism. That purebred mysticism is based purely on a feeling, just you and your intuition and the face of Mother Earth. Now you can walk into Vestal Virgins and the continuous fire burning on the altar. Just don't stop me when it hits you what I'm talking about. Because all of this started with hearths burning at the centers of villages. People would literally light sticks from the fire in the center of said villages to take back to their huts. Now look up in any church or mosque or synagogue, temple or spiritual place and ask yourself if you see a flame lit anywhere. Incense are a surefire indicator you're in a house of divinity where the sacred fire stays lit. This is our history. Shared before the concepts of melanin and differences stood the sacred hearth. Of course, my tribe's house of worship was burned down, our libraries were plundered, and our burial mounds were turned into housing developments. Now you're with me. Now we can speak on the deeper pieces. Now we can dig into our mystical history. Until then, keep breathing in light and living in love. You are loved, human.